Have you ever had a moment where reality felt wrong? Not dream wrong, not scary wrong, just slightly off? Like a coincidence happened at the exact perfect time, or you thought of someone and then they texted you. Or you walked into a room and felt like you had already lived that exact moment before. Most of the time we ignore it, we say that was weird, then we move on. But sometimes the question stays in the back of your mind. What if reality is not what we think it is? What if the world around us is not the original world? What if everything you see, hear, touch, remember, and believe is happening inside a simulation? It sounds like science fiction. It sounds like The Matrix. But simulation theory is not just a movie idea. It is a real philosophical question, and the more advanced our technology becomes, the harder that question is to ignore. The basic idea is simple. If a civilization becomes powerful enough to simulate conscious beings, entire planets, or even entire universes, then simulated realities could eventually outnumber real ones. And if there are more simulated worlds than original worlds, then maybe the odds are not on our side. Maybe we are not living in the base reality. Maybe we are inside one of the copies, one of the simulations, one of the worlds built by something outside everything we know. Simulation theory does not say this is definitely true. It says it might be possible, and that possibility is what makes it so unsettling. Because look at what humans are already doing. A few decades ago, video games were simple shapes on a screen. Now we have massive open worlds, realistic lighting, physics engines, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, generated voices, generated images, generated video, characters that can talk, respond, and almost seem alive. Now imagine this technology in 100 years. Then 1,000 years, then 1,000,000 years. If civilization survives long enough, what could it build? Could it create a world so detailed that the people inside would never know it was artificial? Could it create minds that feel real emotions? Could it create beings that look up at their sky and wonder if they are real? Beings like us? This is where the argument gets strange. If future humans or some advanced intelligence could run millions of simulations, then there may be far more simulated people than real people. So if you are a conscious observer, the odds might favor you being simulated. Not because the world looks fake, not because you can see pixels in the sky, but because there may simply be more simulated observers than original ones. That is the core of the simulation argument. Either civilizations usually destroy themselves before becoming advanced enough to run these simulations, or advanced civilizations can run simulations but choose not to, or we are probably living in one. None of those options are comforting. The first means intelligent life usually fails. The second means something stops advanced beings from creating simulated worlds. The third means our reality might not be the bottom layer. But before going further, we need to make something clear. Simulated does not mean meaningless. If this world is a simulation, your life still matters. Pain still hurts. Love still feels real. Fear still feels real. Choices still have consequences. A simulated person who suffers is still experiencing suffering. A simulated person who loves someone is still experiencing love. So the word simulation does not make life fake. It only changes what reality is made of. And maybe reality has always been stranger than we thought. Think about it. The Earth feels still, but it is moving through space. Solid objects feel solid, but they are mostly empty space. Time feels constant, but time can stretch. The universe has never been limited to what feels obvious, so maybe simulation theory is another version of that same lesson. Reality might be deeper than what our senses can show us, but how would we ever know? How could someone inside a simulation prove they are inside it? That is the hard part. Imagine a character in a video game trying to prove they are in a game. Everything they can measure exists inside the game. Their tools are part of the game. Their memories are part of the game. Their science is part of the game. If the simulation is good enough, every experiment will return an answer that fits the rules of that world. That might be our situation. We discover physics, gravity, atoms, quantum mechanics, galaxies, but if the universe is simulated, those laws would simply be the rules of the simulation. The existence of rules does not prove we are simulated, but it also does not prove we are not. Some people point to physics as a possible clue. The universe seems to have limits. There is a maximum speed. The speed of light, there are tiny scales where space and time stop making normal sense. Quantum physics behaves in ways that feel impossible. Particles do not seem to have definite properties until they are measured. Reality at the smallest level seems based on probability. Some people hear that and think of a video game. A game does not render everything at full detail all the time. It saves power. It loads what the player needs. It focuses on what is being observed, so maybe some people argue? The universe works in a similar way. Maybe reality only becomes definite when interaction happens. Maybe observation is part of how the system updates itself. But we have to be honest, that is not proof. Quantum physics is strange, but strange does not automatically mean simulated. The universe is allowed to be weird without being a computer program. Still, the comparison is hard to forget, because our world does seem to run on information. Physics uses mathematics. Black holes seem connected to information. Quantum theory seems connected to information. Everything we know about reality can be described through patterns, numbers, and rules. So maybe information is not just inside the universe. Maybe information is the universe. And if reality is information, then the idea of a computed universe becomes much harder to laugh off. Now let us talk about glitches. People love saying glitch in the matrix. A strange coincidence, a moment of déjà vu, a memory that other people remember differently, a pattern that feels too perfect. These moments are fascinating, but they are not solid evidence. The human brain is built to find patterns. It connects things. It fills in gaps. It edits memories. It creates meaning even when nothing supernatural is happening. So when someone says they saw a glitch, maybe they did experience something strange, but that does not mean reality broke. It might just mean the brain did what the brain does. And if we really were in a simulation, the glitches might not be obvious. A true glitch might look like a miracle, or a hallucination, or a measurement error, or a coincidence, or something we explain away instantly, because our minds are designed to protect the feeling that reality is normal. That might be the creepiest part. If the simulation is perfect, we would never notice. And if it is not perfect, we still might not understand what we are seeing. So who would create a simulation like this? One possibility is future humans. Maybe thousands of years from now, humanity becomes advanced enough to recreate its own past. Maybe they run ancestor simulations to study history, to understand how civilizations rise, to see how certain choices change the future, to watch different versions of the same timeline, and if future humans were going to simulate any period. Our time would be interesting. This is the age where artificial intelligence begins to rise, where humans connect the planet through networks, where technology becomes powerful enough to change the future of the species, where civilization faces huge risks and huge possibilities. Maybe this century is a turning point. Maybe that is why it would be simulated. Another possibility is that we are not a history project. Maybe we are an experiment. Maybe the creators are testing physics, testing societies, testing intelligence, testing consciousness. Maybe our universe is a laboratory, not a small laboratory, a cosmic one, with galaxies instead of glass walls. Another possibility is even stranger. Maybe simulations create simulations. A simulated civilization becomes advanced enough to make its own simulated worlds. Then those worlds create more worlds. Then those worlds create more. Reality becomes a stack. Simulations inside simulations inside simulations. And if that is possible, base reality might be almost impossible to reach. Maybe every universe thinks it is the real one.
Maybe almost all of them are wrong? At this point, you might ask,
does it matter? If we cannot prove it and we cannot escape it, why care? That is fair. You still have to live your life. You still have to wake up, eat, work, care about people, make choices. But simulation theory matters because it changes how we think about existence. It reminds us that reality may not be what it appears to be, and it forces us to ask a deeper question. What makes something real? Is something real because it exists at the bottom layer, or is something real because it is experienced? If a thought is experienced, is it real? If pain hurts, is it real? If love is felt, is it real? If a life is lived, is it real? Maybe reality is not about being original. Maybe reality is about experience. And that idea changes everything, because if simulated minds can suffer, then we would have responsibilities if we ever create them. If we build artificial intelligence that becomes conscious, how should we treat it? If we create simulated worlds, do the beings inside have rights? Could turning off a conscious simulation be wrong? Could creating a world full of suffering be immoral? Simulation theory is not just about whether we are inside a machine. It is also about what we might become. One day we may be the creators, and if that day comes, we will have to decide what kind of gods we want to be. There is also the question of consciousness. If we are simulated, why do we feel anything at all? A video game character does not need to feel pain. It only needs to act like it feels pain. So if we are simulated, are we truly conscious? Or are we only programmed to say we are? This question is terrifying because consciousness is already mysterious. You know you are conscious because you experience being you, but you cannot directly prove that anyone else has an inner world. You assume they do because they act like you, they speak, they react, they hurt, they love, they fear, they hope. Simulation theory takes that mystery and makes it bigger. If a simulated person acts conscious in every possible way, should we treat them as conscious? Probably yes, because if we are wrong, the cost is enormous. We could end up denying value to beings that truly feel. So maybe the real question is not, are we simulated? Maybe the real question is, what kind of pattern can have an experience? A brain, a machine, a universe, a program, a system of information. If consciousness can arise from information, then simulated minds may be possible. And if simulated minds are possible, then simulation theory becomes much more serious. Can we ever prove it? Maybe. Some people have suggested looking for limits in reality, signs that space and time are not smooth, patterns in cosmic rays, tiny errors in physics, hidden shortcuts in the structure of the universe. But even if we found something strange, we might just call it new physics. A strange discovery does not automatically prove simulation, and if the creators are advanced enough, they could hide the evidence completely. They could make the rules consistent. They could stop us from seeing outside the system. They could make the walls invisible. A fish in an aquarium might see the glass, but a fish in a perfect ocean simulation would never know there was anything beyond the water. Maybe that is where we are, inside a question we cannot answer from the inside, and yet the question still matters, because it says something about us. We are pieces of the universe trying to understand the universe. We are made of matter asking what matter is. We are conscious minds asking why consciousness exists. We are beings who may be simulated asking whether simulation is possible, even if the theory is wrong. The fact that we can imagine it is amazing. We are the part of reality that questions reality. Maybe the universe is not simulated. Maybe there is no outside observer, no code, no hidden system. Maybe this is the original world. But even then, reality is already strange enough. A universe begins from something we do not fully understand. Stars form, planets form, life appears, life becomes conscious. Consciousness builds machines. Machines begin to imitate consciousness. And then consciousness wonders if it was inside a machine all along. That is almost too perfect. So are we living in a simulation? The honest answer is we do not know. There is no final proof. There is no confirmed glitch. There is no experiment that settles it. But the idea stays with us because it touches something deep. The fear that reality is not solid. The hope that there is something beyond what we see. The possibility that our universe is only one layer of something much larger. Maybe one day we will create a simulated world ourselves. And maybe the beings inside it will look up at their sky and ask the same question. Are we real? And maybe when they ask that, we will finally understand ourselves, because maybe being real is not about being first. Maybe being real is about being aware. So if this world is simulated, your life is still happening. Your choices still matter. Your memories still shaped you. Your future still exists. Maybe the stars are rendered. Maybe physics is code. Maybe time is only a process. Maybe the universe is running on something beyond imagination, but you are here. You are aware, you are asking the question, and maybe that is the most real thing there is. So the next time a coincidence feels too perfect, the next time you get déjà vu, the next time the world feels just a little bit off, ask yourself one thing. If this is a simulation, what kind of player are you going to be? If you made it this far, welcome to Static in the Dark. This is where we question the things most people ignore: reality, consciousness, technology, the unknown. If this video made you think, leave a like, subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments, do you think we are living in a simulation? Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and keep looking into the dark.